Hi, this is Diane Dressback, and I have Kimberly with me today, and we have the pleasure of interviewing Jennifer Rio Ruddle. And Jennifer is a chapter writer in the compilation book From Us for You, Inspiring Stories of Healing, Growth, and Transformation. So we're really happy that you're with us today, sort of. We see a beautiful picture there, Jennifer, of you. I know that you're in the film community here in Arizona. And I think, that's probably where we first were in touch. But
I
Lori
think
Love,
so.
yeah, but Lori Love was the one that she says, oh, you need to talk to Jennifer. She has a story. So that's when I reached out to you. So why don't you just give us a little bit of an introduction to yourself and tell us about that beautiful picture that's up there.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. Well, as you can see, I am the United States of America's Mrs. Arizona 2020. I am also a stage and film actor here in Arizona. And I'm also a stage 4 colorectal cancer survivor. It's been a journey for sure.
Yes, I would say so. So when you were Miss Arizona 2020, was that before COVID or after? I'm just curious.
That was actually before COVID. COVID hit, but right before COVID. I was crowned in November 2019, and COVID hit in February, March of 2020. So I think it was right after our national pageant. So it was very difficult. A lot of my appearances ended up being like this, being over Zoom calls and virtual meetings. I was scheduled to do quite a bit of traveling and speaking, and everything got canceled almost right after I was crowned.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but you look beautiful in your crown. I mean, you're gorgeous. I see your picture and you're just absolutely stunning.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate the pageant world because, there are a lot of things that we get to do. We get to, travel and speak about things that are important to us. So I love that aspect of it. And it was sad that when COVID hit, a lot of that changed. So I'm grateful for things like this, that we're able to Zoom and still, you know, be able to spread our messages and talk about the things that are important to us.
Yes, and you definitely have some messages, right, Diane?
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. One other question about that. Will you have the opportunity do they do events or speaking events that they would get past Mrs. Arizona's to go do things? Will you still have those opportunities or
That's a
not?
great, that's a good question. I think it just depends on the organization. I think some places will still be interested in having a past queen speak about certain topics. So hopefully I will still be able to use my title for that. And if I'm not, there are other pageants in the future that I am interested in doing. So there may be a new title down the road in my future that I can use for
That
that
would
as well.
that would be wonderful. We'd like to see
Yes,
that.
me too.
Is that like a Mrs. Universe or what would be the
There are, it's so funny. There are so many different pageants. There's international, and there's United States, and there's universe, and there's Earth. Yeah, there's a lot of different systems out there. So yeah, so it kind of just depends on, and some systems are geared towards married women, some are single women. It's like my particular pageant this year had teen, miss, ms, and mrs. So there were
Oh,
4 different categories.
oh,
So they're all a little different.
yeah.
Yes, we can leave no beauty behind, right?
Exactly, exactly. We all have something to contribute.
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that they have those many opportunities. I think that it's wonderful for people who are lacking in the self confidence arena that will help uplift them and forge ahead. I don't think I could do it, but only because of the bathing suit thing. But
Hey,
I
you
could
know, not
I could wrap myself in saran wrap.
no, not all pageants have swimsuit competitions. Some do, some don't. Some have resort wear, some have just a some are one piece, some you can choose two piece or one piece. It's interesting. They're all a little different.
Very nice. So this has been a journey with this book and Diane, and I am so thrilled also to be a part of it. And but I have not read anybody's chapter yet, and I am just dying right now because I want to know what your chapter's about. But if you could please just only give us the elevator pitch, I think the audience would love that.
So my chapter is about dealing with a stage 4 colorectal cancer diagnosis at the age of 41 with no family history, no risk factors, and really not many symptoms.
How did you know then? I mean, if you have no symptoms.
Right. I ended up getting sick. I thought I had the flu, but it was only for a very short period of time, about 2 weeks. And I went to see my doctor, and he sent me in for a blood test, and I was very anemic. And I ended up going to the emergency room and ended up in the hospital for quite a while. Um, and that's how I ended up being diagnosed. It was very shocking and overwhelming, and not something I ever expected to hear.
Oh, I can imagine not. I mean, I just have goosebumps all over my body because oh my gosh, you think that it's something so minuscule like the flu. And then it turns
Right.
out to be this monumental issue. And where are you in today with the illness?
Well, I thought I was doing better. And one of the reasons why you are now just seeing a photo of me instead of my video is I have had some health setbacks in the recent month. And so, I'm back in treatment and I'm working through it, but it's a journey. I think a lot of people go through cancer and you think, you either go through it and you go into remission, or you fight it and you're fighting it forever. But it really is a roller coaster. There you have good days, you have bad days, and unfortunately right now I'm in a bad patch where I'm working through things. But I think that's one of the reasons why I was so glad to be asked to be part of this book, is that you there are positives that come from these bad aspects too. I never thought that I would feel like I could say that there were good things that came from me having cancer, but there are. And I try to focus on those positives and getting more of those positives through this journey.
Right. Your story is going to inspire so many because right now I can't wait to read it. And with that being said, and your journey, what would you tell somebody else right now that's listening that is going through the same thing you are? Do you have anything uplifting or words of advice to help them through this journey?
I would definitely say that to find the silver lining. Um, I remember right after I was diagnosed, somebody told me, look for the silver lining. And at the time, I thought, what silver lining could there be to a stage 4 cancer diagnosis? And I can honestly tell you, I have had so many blessings over the last 3 years that I never would have expected, that never would have come unless I had gone through this journey. And I promise they are there. You just have to be willing to look for them and accept them. But they are there. I've met some incredible, inspirational people who have changed my life forever that I would never have met had I not gone through this. And while I'm not grateful that I had cancer, I am grateful that I have had these experiences. And so I hope that someone else would be able to find those experiences through their journey as well.
Simply powerful. You made me cry.
Oh,
Because I'm a big advocate for gratitude. Gratitude, it's scientifically proven that it will produce and bring miracles into your life. And so for you to choose a state of gratitude for your experiences, is so powerful.
I 100% agree with you. I think having a positive mindset and being grateful, finding something to be grateful for every day is so important. And I think it really changes your experience in life.
Definitely.
It doesn't mean there won't be hard times, but finding those things to be grateful for makes a huge difference.
Right. I mean, we have hard times every day without illness, and then add that on top of it is just, I admire you, and I'm going to pray for you for strength and
Thank you.
continuation into your journey. And you are still beautiful. So
Thank you. That means so much to me. Thank you, Kimber.
you're welcome.
So you mentioned being, having gratitude and being grateful for things. What other things do you do, like little things that you do to help you, stay positive? Do you have other little things like meditation or music, or are there other things that you do that that help you kind of stay in the right frame of mind?
Yeah, I mean, silly things like I have watched, I love watching shows I've seen on TV, like comedies or sitcoms that I may have seen 100 times, but just that are funny and put me in a good mindset. Music that makes me happy. Talking to friends and family that I trust and love that will send me silly memes every day, or do something that will just make me smile. I think things like that are important.
Mhm.
I also have groups of other friends that have been through cancer. I think for me that was important to reach out, and I didn't at first. I was kind of afraid to tell people what I was going through. I was afraid to reach out. And when I did finally reach out and found other groups of cancer survivors and people that had gone through similar things that I had gone through, I found that it really helped me. It helped to have that support group of people who kind of knew what I was going through and, had other ways to stay positive. Even if it was just, like I said, sending a meme, a silly meme that made me smile that day. Things like that, those personal connections really helped.
I'm going to ask you a question that we've been asking of all of the authors, and it may or may not have to do with what you wrote about. But sometimes we have failures in life, which we all have things that we're disappointed about, and yeah. So,
Right.
can you think of one thing that you maybe considered a failure at one point, and then later on you realized that it really was, you learned from that and it ended up being something that you almost appreciated?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can talk about the pageant. I mean, you don't win every pageant that you enter. In fact, I can tell you that I think about 6 months before I entered the United States of America pageant, I did another pageant system, and I placed, I think, second to last. And I felt like a failure at that point because, here I was, I had done pageants when I was younger in my teens, and then I decided to get back involved, over the last year or so. And so then when I got back involved and I didn't win, of I definitely felt like a failure, and I thought, oh, I can't do this. This isn't for me. I'm not good enough. It was something that I really felt passionate about. It was something I felt that I really wanted to still do. So I gathered myself together. I picked myself up and I tried another system, and then I ended up winning, the title in that system. So yeah, that I think that was it was a learning moment. It taught me a lot. I could see why I didn't win the first one and the things that I needed to improve on. And I felt like I worked on those things for the next system.
I know so many times we have situations that happen like that, and it's like, oh, I wasn't ready, or it gives you the guidance on things that you need to do to continue pursuing, as long as you don't give up. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's the key is to be able to look at the situation and say, okay, why didn't this work out?
Mhm.
And there's a reason. And I was able to see what those reasons were, and set my mind to the goal, because I did, it was something I still wanted to pursue. So um I focused, and I felt really good about the second time.
And sometimes too, life is all about timing. And I
Yes.
think that what you considered your failure is actually had a lot to do with timing, because here you are, and there's a lot more in your chapter that will explain that. But that's just that in itself is a journey and miraculous.
Absolutely. I completely agree with you. It took me a long time to realize that timing in life is very important. So I agree completely.
I have to ask you this. So, being that you participate in these events, do you like the movie, The Miss Congeniality?
I loved it. It was great. I think pageants can be so much fun, and I love the joy of that movie and everything she goes through, and it's just such a fun movie, and I can laugh about it. I can laugh about things that I've gone through, and things I've done, and I love it. Now, see, you mentioned that, now I want to go watch the movie again.
I was going to
Yeah,
say the same thing. I
me
have to go
too.
watch it tonight.
I
It is.
see, and again, a comedy, something fun that
Yep.
will make me laugh. I
Yeah.
do. I need to go watch that again.
Yeah. Yeah. I have one final question for you, Jennifer.
Sure.
And that is, while you were writing the chapter for the compilation book From Us for You, was there anything that you learned about yourself?
I think I learned how to be a little more vulnerable. Um, I tried to write my chapter very much like I was telling my story to a friend. And there were times it was a little hard to completely open up and be vulnerable, but I really wanted to do that. I think it was important for people to know my story from that place. And it was tough, but I'm glad that I did it.
I'm very glad that you did it as well. I think that I think people will be inspired and they'll be appreciative. And when you come out of something like that and you have such a gracious and grateful attitude, that's good for all of us to hear. and to
Mhm.
to know. So I thank you so much
Thank you.
for taking the time to do that and being vulnerable.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, thank you for having me as a contributing writer. Um, I I can't wait to read the book. I'm so excited to read everybody's stories, and I'm excited to be part of it and to share my journey and what I went through. And I hope that it can inspire and help somebody else like me. And I know that the other chapters will help me continue through my journey.
Yes, yes, I'm sure they will. So, okay, well, thank you again for being here. Thanks, Kimber, for joining me in the interview, and thank you for those of you that are watching. If you'd like to share the interview, please feel free to do that. If you'd like more information about the book compilation, then you can go to FromUsForYou.com and get the details there. So, all right, well, thank you, ladies. You make it a very hopeful day.